Welcome to KSM Adventures of an Arcane Mage here on Lord PeteyTV Plays. In this video series, we will be following Petey as he tries to learn how to play Arcane Mage while getting Keystone Master. See all of our restrictive rules on Discord. Please note that throughout the video, non-boss combat is double speed, and if you have any questions or comments, please place them below. Please hit that follow button to see more content from Lord PeteyTV throughout the week. I wanted everybody to know, with full disclosure, that I tried to produce a whole group for our first key, and I had to wait over 45 minutes. And during that time, a handful of our channel members wanted to join. I told them no. But after noticing our viewership dropping within the channel, I allowed some of them to join. But I put restrictions on them as I would of myself. I had them have also no item leveled characters under 400, and they had to play specs that they rarely had played before. This had only occurred for our first 3 keys this week, and the 4th was 100% solo. I feel like this week being the Dungeon Weekly was the biggest cause of having this issue on producing groups. Oh my god! It's got 50k on that pull! Ooh! Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, I can't believe this guy is so excited about this one specific pull. And it's probably because I started to figure out that Arcane Explosion and Arcane, the orbs, with the addition of the barrage, could end up producing huge amounts of damage burst. So I wanted to make sure I noticed that and I remembered it for now doing this into the boss fights. Now, I knew that Bromach was going to be a very interesting fight that we were going to have to deal with, specifically because of the fact that I started to try to use my types of damage bolstering effects that I kind of spoke about in the previous videos, and I started to kind of try to work on doing that. Now, this fight, I knew that I was going to have to do some AoE, so I ended up trying to use the arcane orbs somewhat throughout the whole entire fight. But for the most part, I was just considering myself doing a lot of single target DPS directly onto the boss, and I kind of tried to keep pushing that as much as I possibly could. Now, as you'll see, I was starting to use my arcane surges, my Nether Tempest, my Touch of the Magi more, in addition to all of my other abilities, to see if I can end up starting to use the burns for the boss. And I am all right, these guys, I have no idea how I should be trying to attack them, because they are like all over the place, and I feel like they are ricochet shield.
Pally, in my opinion, is one of my favorite thing in classes, so I actually like it probably more than my druid, and I like my druid. Druid's one of my favorites, too.
Just a reminder, Lord PeteyTV can be used at Rogue Energy Drink to have a discount to support the channel. Links in the description. Now, this boss is kind of a little bit of a pain in my butt, but at the same time, once you start kind of playing with them, you kind of start understanding how you start working with them. Now, we were using a lot of more advanced techniques when we were going through this because we ended up making sure that we were placing the bombs on top of the boss. And then while that was going on, we made sure that we proceeded to, stun him on our own. So that way we can control the fight, how it goes. Now, that is probably the number one and best way to deal with this specific boss. Now, as you can see here, I am starting to use my Tempest more. I'm starting to use my Arcane Surges more, my Touch of the Magi more, my Radiant Sparks more. I'm starting to, and you'll see throughout the whole entire dungeon, so if you can, I end up starting to move a lot of my buttons around because I'm starting to get a better feel of what should be used more often. Now, I can see here that I started using the Arcane Barrage and going into the Arcane Missiles more, trying to get certain buffs there. Throughout this next upcoming week, I'm going to end up starting to add more of my, what I like to call my information cooldowns that are going to start popping up in front of me more and more to know when I should be doing more DPS. Now, I'm going to be more than likely, I'm trying to remember if it was this boss or the next one. There it is. I knew it. I started using shifting power more because then it would end up bringing down the cooldowns of my other abilities so I can end up doing more damage. It makes the boss a lot easier when you're stunning on your terms than you are on the other.
I may have pulled another group.
Have you seen Lord PeteyTV wearing these amazing gamer glasses? These glasses are from Sub2R. If you go to the description and you click on their link, and if you want to purchase them, use Lord PeteyTV at checkout for 10% off. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this boss here and how annoying he really is for any caster class. Now, for me, trying to figure out how to do this boss in general was very, very weird, but I'm started to make sure that I started using my cooldowns properly. I started ending up trying to keep myself in a position which would make myself kind of a little bit better on how I was going to operate and move around throughout the whole dungeon. Now, the thing that I found the most interesting about this one specific boss is when you go into that phase 2 portion of it and it splits up the room. Now, we're going to be encountering that very shortly, but for me, I didn't know how I should do it. I'm used to my boomkin and I'm used to my hunter, which means I can end up hitting them once or twice and moving and doing big damage to each individual ad. Now, what I wanted to make sure I did this time was I tried to make sure I put some dots on every single mobs that I was walking up against, DPSing them a little bit, and then having to move because I didn't want to get hit with that flame spike. Now, in the group, we had a rogue that was very, very advanced and knew what he was doing. I'm pretty sure that was actually Rumble. And we ended up pugging the Warlock and also the healer, the Holy Priest. Now, we tried to go through that process and trying to deal with how to DPS and go through that. So it took a little bit of time, but we ended up getting a little bit more of him down, and he ended up going down pretty easily. But it was very, very difficult for me to kind of work through trying to figure out exactly how I should do a rotation on this guy with moving throughout the whole entire time frame.
All the procs and stuff. That's the one thing I find really, really intense about this character. Pull these earth waters. Come back here, pull the earth waters. We got him. Stay right there.
Looking to support the channel, go to teespring.com, click on the link in the description, and go ahead and take a look at that really, really nice merchandise. Pick it up to help support the channel.
Pull the side. Just the one. No, I don't need all that.
Now this
Well,
boss,
this
man,
Warlock, what do you guys think?
Chrono Lord Delios is such a painful boss to deal with in general. But, you know, we end up starting out with our double lust, and then we start putting our dots down. As you can see, I kind of started realizing what I was doing with my rotation. So as you can see, I put Tempest up real quick. I put Radiant Spark up. I put Spark of, what's it called? Arcane Surge and Arcane Magi up as quick as possible. And evocated, so I had my intelligence buffs, and then I just started blasting and trying to do my thing. Now, the hardest thing for me to do right now is I learned how to kind of push out as much damage as I possibly can. But for me, it was more of a learning how to run and how to move and how to deal with the fight as it goes. And over time, I think that's just more of a more comfortable thing going with this boss. We ended up downing them. It was not too bad of a dungeon. You know, once again, they're only 3s, but it was hard enough for me because, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how to properly DPS these bosses. But this boss goes down pretty smoothly. I just want to say thanks again, everybody, for checking out our videos, and we're going to be putting out as many of them throughout the whole entire week. At least 4 dungeons are going to be mages. I should say 4 videos are going to be of the mage each week, and then we'll have, you know, our regular affix videos, and we're going to have other videos too every single week. So thank you very much for hanging out. I greatly appreciate you all for spending the time here, and I will see you all soon. Thank you, and I hope to see you all soon in chat. Bye, everybody.